I'm going to start this video off with a question. Growing up, what was your top 3 favorite franchises to watch as a kid? For me personally, it was the superhero movies, DC, Marvel, whatever, doesn't matter. Fast and the Furious, big fan of Fast and the Furious growing up. And then Transformers. Transformers has fallen off very hard recently. But growing up, those were probably my top 3 favorite franchises to watch as a kid. So I think you guys will know that I'm very passionate when it comes to talking about the Fast and Furious movies. I love them. I grew up watching them. I used to love them when people thought they were bad, before Fast 5, when it got really good. This was the shit back then, and still is. But for a lot of people, it feels overplayed, and it feels like at some point you gotta put the dog down at this point. Like, you are doing too much. Hey guys, how is it going? And welcome to today's review of F9, the 9th movie in the Fast and Furious franchise. Now, before we get started, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Check out some of my other videos. And again, the red eye, I've explained this before. It's not because I'm high. It's because I had eye surgery. And the redness has been clearing up now, so I decided not to wear glasses. Hopefully it doesn't freak you guys out. I'm going to try to put a lot of images up to just cover myself. Before I talk about F9, I want to talk about The Fate of the Furious, the 8th movie in the franchise. Because I remember back when it came out, I don't remember how many years ago that was. I remember when I saw it, like, I kind of had like a weird feeling coming out of the movie, because I was like, well, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. Like, I had a very neutral feeling towards it. It felt like something was missing. And I think it's very apparent to me what this franchise is missing, and I will get to that at some point in this video. But yeah, that was just my quick thought about The Fate of the Furious, because I think that was my exact same feeling walking out of F9. Out of all the Fast and Furious movies, probably never gonna fully rewatch that movie. I have no real interest in it. Also, I just want to say that this is a spoiler review for F9, because man, there are some things that happen in this movie that I just gotta get into, and to get really deep in there, spoilers ahead. So F9 is once again directed by Justin Lin, who has directed many other Fast and Furious movies in the past. And basically the plot is, wow, what is the plot? What is not the plot, right? Because a lot of things happen in this movie. So basically, Mr. Nobody, who's played by Kurt Russell, has captured Charlize Theron's character in the beginning of the movie, and their plane goes down, but Mr. Nobody is able to send a distress signal to Dom's team, our favorite family. And he's like, family, I need you guys to find this plane and go get this thing, this spy thing. And they're like, cool. And they have to go get the spy thing and retrieve it from the bad guys. And one of the bad guys in this movie is Dom Toretto's brother, Jacob, played by John Cena! That's right, John Cena is in this movie, and he's playing Vin Diesel's brother. So it turns out, like 20 years into the Fast and Furious franchise, 9 movies in, including 1 spin-off movie, it turns out that Dom Toretto, the family man, the guy who loves family and loves saying that, has a brother that he has never brought up before. So now basically we have to stop Dom's brother from getting this spy thing that's gonna, like, when it combines with another spy thing, is gonna create like this whole weapon thing that could like take out anybody or take over any weapon in the world. Basically, this is a spy movie now. The Fast and Furious franchise is a spy movie now. Alright, let's just talk about the positive first. The positive is that Justin Lin understands how to direct action in these movies, and he can make a very good looking movie. This movie looks good. The action's good, the CGI is good, the stunt work is nice. It looks good. Justin Lin knows how to do it. That's about it. That's about all I have for the movie. In terms of the positives. Now, my biggest problem with this movie is that shit just happens. I went to go see this movie with 2 of my friends, and at a certain point in the movie, I just turned to one of my friends and I whispered to him, I was like, so shit's just happening, right? Because shit is just happening. Things are going on. First of all, our team has to go get this spy thing. We have to focus on the spy thing. Then out of nowhere, Jacob shows up. Ooh, Dom Toretto's brother. What's up with that? Tons of flashback in the movie to Dom Toretto's past, to show him and his relationship with his brother, to show that their dad died in a race. Basically, Jacob potentially did something to the engine and the car like flipped and exploded, and Dom Toretto, the family man, was like, "Ooh, my brother, you killed our dad. You fucking did it. Get out of here. I don't want to deal with you. Go away and never come back." And they drag race at some point as well. And also, Han is alive. You know, our favorite guy, our favorite snack eater in these franchises, Han? Yeah, he's alive. He never died in Tokyo Drift, you dummies. He never died in that car that flipped over and was on fire and blew up. He never died. He's back. He's alive. And he was a super spy all along. He was a super spy in Tokyo Drift. Did you guys know that? When you guys first watched Tokyo Drift, way back when. Did you guys know that Han was a super spy? This is going to have like a whole different outlook for me. If I ever go back and watch Tokyo Drift again, every single time I'm going to see Han, I'm going to be like, he was a super spy during these times, apparently. The final big absurd thing that happens in this movie is that our favorite family finally goes to space, or at least Tej and Roman do. They go to space. They go to space and they drive a car through a satellite. They do it. They do it all in this movie. At some point, Cardi B also shows up. That's a different thing, but yeah. Shit's just happening. Basically, if there was a tagline for this movie, it'd be like F9. Shit's just happening. Listen, I just want to get this out the way. I actually didn't think the movie was, like, bad. I didn't. It is entertaining in parts. I've always referred to the Fast and Furious movies as just fun popcorn flicks, you know? They're not aiming for the Oscars. They're not aiming to be these masterpieces. They want you to go to the movies and have fun, get some popcorn, get some soda, go enjoy some action and have some fun. Yes, that's all I really expect from these movies. But F9 just, like, cranks that up to an 11 where it just gets too absurd, you know? Let's talk about Han coming back to life, which was a huge surprise to me when I first saw the movie. It's not like he was on all the posters and not like he was in the trailers. I don't know why they did it like that. We gotta praise Kevin Feige and Marvel for like really keeping their lips sealed and like trying not to spoil shit for us, because there's franchises out there that will bring a character back from the dead, try to surprise you, but still put that character in all the posters and all the trailers. Let's give a round of applause to Kevin Feige for knowing how to do surprises in movies, right? For not spoiling it for us. Listen, so it turns out that after Han went to Tokyo, or after Gal Gadot's death, his girlfriend, after she died, he went back to Tokyo, and Mr. Nobody was like, hey, come work for me. Be a super spy for me. Also, go get this gadget thing. So Han goes to go get this gadget thing, finds this girl, trains this girl, and then at some point he has to like disappear, and then Mr. Nobody makes his death look super realistic. How? We're not really going to explain that because we just came up with the idea to bring Han back to life. So we're just going to say that Mr. Nobody has skill. No, it's just like the movie's going on and so many absurd things are happening that at a certain point I just become numb to it and I'm just agreeing with everything and just not really questioning anything. It's like, what? Yeah, Mr. Nobody, okay, yeah, I guess. Oh, you didn't actually die in that car crash? Made it super realistic? Yeah, sure, fine. That may as well happen. Go for it. Yeah. I'm happy that Han's back because Han is a fan favorite. Although I feel like in this movie he didn't really get to do like his Han thing. Like they brought him back to life and then they didn't really utilize him all that much. I mean, yeah, he is in the final third action battle thing where they have to take this big truck down and he does go save the girl. But he never gets to do his Han charm. You know what makes us like Han? He's in there for like 2 action scenes and then he's out. You don't ever really spend that much time with him to be like, oh, Han, good to have you back, buddy. It's just kind of like, okay, Han's back. I'm losing my fucking mind. Let's talk about the self-aware jokes. Now, they have this very meta bit going on in this movie where Roman has this whole thing. He thinks that the group is invincible, right? He's like, we're potentially superheroes here. Think about what we have done. And he lists all the crazy shit that they have done. And just before that, just before he comes to this realization, there's like 20 guys surrounding him. And he's in a pit with a gun. 20 guys are surrounding him. And they all start shooting down at him. And he just does like the circle thing and starts shooting at takes all of them out. All 20 of those guys missed. Actually, no, they didn't miss, because he looks at his jacket and it has holes in it. But somehow he didn't die. How didn't he die? Just because the movie didn't want him to die. And yeah, he comes to this whole realization. He's like,
we're superheroes. We can do whatever we want.
And that means that none of the action sequences in this movie mean anything. Nobody can get hurt. There's no stakes in this movie. You know nobody's gonna die. Not only are just a lot of absurd action sequences happening in this movie that are just kind of numbing you slowly every single time to it, but also you're starting to lose a little bit of interest in all of them bit by bit, because you're like, well, nobody's gonna get hurt in these, so why should I care? Because there's no danger. There is no stakes in any of this. And I guess that meta joke was kind of like a nod to the fans, because the Fast and Furious has kind of become a meme nowadays. People made so many memes about this. How can we go from street racing to becoming super spies? That's the whole meme nowadays. How are these people doing this? And it's always like Vin Diesel saying that it's going to be family. The Fast and Furious franchise just tries to one-up itself every single time. It's like, alright, in the last movie we had The Rock push a torpedo into another car with his bare hands. What can we do in this one? Well, the internet has been making memes that at some point we're going to go to space. So like, what if we go to space? And I gotta say, if they did that shit, there's 2 more movies scheduled to come out from the Fast and Furious. The internet, please stop making memes, because in the 10th movie, they will actually fight Thanos. You know how you've been making memes that like at some point they'll fight Thanos and the Avengers? Yeah, stop doing that. Just stop doing that, because the writers are paying attention and they will actually make that happen in the 10th movie. Please, just stop making memes. Stop. So the big thing in this movie is that Dom Toretto goes up against his brother, which is crazy because like, his brother was never on screen. His brother wasn't like in the movie. I couldn't see him. This movie is riddled with flashback sequences to like their early 20s when they lost their dad, and it led to like this whole tragic past, and Dom had to kick Jacob out of the family. A whole big thing. But the thing is, the flashbacks slow down the movie considerably. I think they're useless. I think they're boring. They do nothing for the film. They do nothing for me. And I could have just done without them. I think one of the biggest problems with this film is that it's just heavily focused on Dom Toretto and his past. And Dom Toretto, unfortunately, I mean, besides the fact that he is superhuman, he is literally superhuman, he's just not that interesting of a person somehow. I love these movies' obsession with the fact that if you're big and you have muscle, you can go through anything. They do that with The Rock all the time. I mean, The Rock gets like rubber bullets shot at him and he just flinches them off like it's nothing. But in this movie, there was this henchman who my friend told me is like a famous bodybuilder. I guess it's another famous cameo. The guy's big and he's standing on top of a moving truck, and you know one of those like highway signs like exit 69, your mom's house, you know, one of those signs? Yeah, so it's moving down a highway and he like standing on top of the truck. The big metal sign is right behind him. Just goes right through it. Just goes right, doesn't even flinch. Goes right through it. Leaves a perfect human silhouette into it. No problem. No super strength. The guy's just big. Yeah, the guy's just huge. He can do it. You know, there's only so many times a fella can watch Dom Toretto use his car to hit another car in order for it to slide under a person who's in the air to catch it. You know what I mean? Like Dom's driving a car and he sees somebody flying through the air and he's like, oh shit, I gotta catch them. How am I gonna do that? I'm gonna use my car to hit another car so that car goes right under the person like a mat and just catches them. There's only so many times a guy can watch somebody do that and be impressed. Since we're on the topic of Dom Toretto and Vin Diesel, I'm just gonna say this, that I have figured out what my biggest problem with The Fate of the Furious and this movie is, because like I said, The Fate of the Furious feels like it was really missing something for me, and these movies just really miss Paul Walker. They really do. They miss him, they miss his character, they miss his charisma and his charm. Yeah, these franchises, they're just really miss that. And watching these 2 movies without him, I have realized that what drawn me into the Fast and Furious franchise, first of all, Brian O'Connor, Paul Walker's character, was like my favorite character in the franchise. Out of the duo, you know, Dom Toretto, Brian O'Connor, Brian was my favorite character. And yeah, this franchise just really misses him because now the sole focus is on Dom Toretto, Vin Diesel, and it's just not as interesting. Back then, when it used to be the duo of them being the head of the team, that's what was great. That's what was fun. Because now even like the team dynamics don't feel that great. They're really focused again on Dom. In the last movie, like Dom betrayed the team, and they're all like, "We gotta save Dom," and it's like really focused just on him. In this movie, now he's up against his brother, and they're like, "We gotta help Dom defeat his brother." And Vin Diesel is on screen by himself a lot. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I grew up being a massive fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, and when I tell you that no celebrity death has ever affected me as much as Paul Walker's death did, because that absolutely broke my heart like it broke millions of people's hearts around the world, millions of Fast and Furious fans around the world. And honestly, like, I've seen Fast 7, the 7th movie, once in my life fully. And that was when I saw it in theaters. And I cried at the end. It was a beautiful ending. It was a beautiful wrap-up to Brian O'Connor, beautiful with what they had to work with. It was a beautiful ending, and I cried at the end. I remember that. I teared up. And yeah, I don't think I can ever go back and watch that movie fully because it's just too sad. It just is. It absolutely breaks my heart watching that. Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that, well, Fast and Furious 7 wrapped up very beautifully. Paul Walker is no longer with us. Are they going to continue the franchise? And they were like, we're going to continue the franchise. And I was a little bit indifferent about it. Like, I was like, I can't stop them, so, I mean, go ahead, whatever. But now, 2 movies in, I have figured out that this franchise really misses Paul Walker and his character and his presence. I'm more than sure that the Fast and Furious cast misses him like every single day. They wish that he could be on set with them filming these films. I'm more than sure they do. But like, yeah, it's just very noticeable that now Vin Diesel has to do this by himself. Yes, the entire family, some of my favorites are Tej and Roman. They're really funny. Tyrese and Ludacris are really funny together. I really like that pairing. But they're not on screen a lot. They're not the main stars. Vin Diesel's the main star. Paul Walker used to be the main star. They used to be on screen a lot together, bantering, arguing, going head to head sometimes, teaming up, doing all kinds of crazy shit. But now it's just, unfortunately, one of them has been taken from the other one, and now I have to watch Vin Diesel act by himself. And Vin Diesel, unfortunately, is not that great of an actor. He really isn't, and I really did not like his performance in this one. It's very dramatic. It's very over the top. Sometimes just random bursts of yelling. He's very angry the entire movie. You know what's funny about Vin Diesel being angry that I noticed? Is that his lips get really small. And you know, I guess it makes total sense that Dom's sister Mia was going to be in this film as well because, I mean, they're going up against his brother. But there's really no point of her being there because it really just wasn't about her. It was about Dom and Jacob, and they're just always facing off against each other, and they look like they want to make out with each other. It's a bit weird, and Mia's just kind of like off to the side. I think John Cena's character acknowledges her like twice in the film, and one time was like at the end he gave her a hug and said, "All right, see ya." She never tries to appeal to his good side, where like he sees his sister and he has like maybe like a soft spot for her, and he's like, maybe what I'm doing is bad. No, she's just kind of useless. She does nothing. Our crew from Tokyo Drift is back. Yeah, I forgot the guy's name, but the main guy in Tokyo Drift, he's back with 2 more guys, and they're in Germany for some reason. When the hell did they get to Germany? I thought the movie ended in Tokyo. Why are they in Germany? I really don't get why they're in Germany. Also, they're rocket scientists. Yeah, they like test rockets, and They're the ones that put the rocket on top of the car and the one that sent them to space. Don't know how they got that knowledge. They're just doing whatever now. I would say the one nice thing about Han coming back was at the end of the movie when he sees the main guy. I forgot what's his friend in Tokyo Drift. The main guy. What's his name? I forgot. Is it Sean? Is it Sean? I'm gonna call him Sean. This guy. You guys know this guy. He's like best friends with Han, and then Han dies, and he's like all sad about it. So yeah, that was a nice little interaction. You know, he finds out that his best friend Han's alive, and they hug it out, and it was a nice moment. Vin Diesel in this movie turns his car into Spider-Man. He drives into a bridge, latches the rope onto his tire, and then swings that bitch from cliff to cliff like it's Tarzan. Honestly, the whole third act, I had a giant smile on my face. I was like, absurdity, fine, whatever. Yes, we're going to space. Let's just do this. Why not? I know I said that at a certain point in this movie I was just become numb to it, but I think that was like the middle part. I think it was the flashbacks, and I think it was just way too much was happening. But honestly, at the end with the space thing, because the space thing is so what the fuck, that I actually had a smile on my face. I really enjoyed that third act. It was just dumb fun, whatever. You want to know another funny plot point in this movie? So John Cena, he's like working for this like rich spoiled guy, right? And at the end of the movie, they're in this truck, they're moving, and they're activating the satellite. They're like, it needs like 10 minutes to boot up and work. And the rich guy ends up, you know, backstabbing John Cena's character. John Cena is like 2 minutes away from his master evil plan going off. And then the rich guy decides this is a good time to backstab the guy. Now, let's do it now. And then he backstabs him. And John Cena does not like that, so he switches to the good side. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of like when you're playing Rocket League with your friends, and you're losing, you're on the losing team, and you just quickly go, start, change team. And you just change team. That's exactly what John Cena did. He was 2 minutes away from launching his master plan. If he didn't get betrayed at the end, he would not have switched to the good side team. But he did at the end just because he got betrayed in the last moment of his evil plan. There was a moment where John Cena picks up Vin Diesel's character and he runs through a door frame with him. Like a concrete or like a drywall door frame. And Vin Diesel's head breaks that shit. No problem. Listen, at the end of the day, I think that it all really comes down to the fact that this franchise heavily misses Paul Walker's presence. Because I think I could have dealt with the absurdity, right? The absurd action, that's cool. But the thing is, when we're not doing the action stuff and we're like trying to focus on Dom's backstory and his whole character thing and the whole banter around the group, it's just not clicking for me. It's not working that well for me. Tej and Roman are really good together. They're really funny and all, but they're not the main characters. Vin Diesel is, and we spent a lot of dramatic time with him, and I really think that we really could have used Brian in this one, just to balance things out when we're not doing action. I think some people will really like this movie. Like I said, these movies are not aiming to be Oscar caliber films. They really want to entertain you. You go in these movies with some popcorn and some soda and really just watch some absurd action and have a good time. At times in this movie, I did have a really good time. Like I said, in that third act, I had a smile on my face. I was enjoying that shit. But towards like the middle of the movie, and you know, when action is not happening and we're focusing on all this drama with the Toretto family, it's just boring. It's not interesting. And I really wish that we didn't deal so much with that. So with all of that, I think out of all the Fast and Furious movies, I think this one is one of the forgettable ones. For me personally, Fast 5 is my favorite. It's fun, it's really entertaining, it's a good heist movie, has some absurd action in it, but doesn't have this much of an absurd action to it. It's a fun heist movie. If you've never seen Fast 5, check it out. It's a really good time. In general, I'm just going to give F9 a C-. And I guess now the Fast and Furious franchise has this thing with itself where it's trying to outdo the other movie. And we have 2 more movies left. Apparently Fast 10 is going to be split into 2 parts. And that's it. And according to Vin Diesel, that's the ending. And he knows what the perfect final shot will look like and the way it's going to end. So we'll see. I will be checking out those two movies. I mean, I'm not going to quit on the franchise now. Not going to quit on the family now. I will be checking it out. So, what did you think of F9? Leave it down in the comments. I would love to have a discussion with you about that. Do you think this franchise misses Paul Walker's presence? Let me know about that. And make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Check out some of my other videos. We've been doing Loki reactions. We've done 4 episodes of Loki. Episode 5 will be coming out this coming week. When it comes out, I'll react to it and I'll post it. And yeah, check out some of my other videos. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.